Afternoon, everybody. Another wonderful day here in the shop. I'm actually back out in the shop today because I wanted to share a little insight with you all. I know it's easy to watch these videos of these builds and say, man, these guys are building these things. They don't ever screw anything up. They don't ever have any issues, no problems. Everything goes just as planned. I'm here to tell you that's not how it works. Most of us do, however, have a neat little trick called video editing. And what happens is we just cut out all of the cussing and the banging and the throwing stuff across the shop. And then once we get it fixed, we show you what happened. When I put these rails on, if you remember back, that was 3 or 4 videos ago, I clamped these down and then I just used my drill to mark through these holes. Well, I don't know if something did happen. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I entered some sort of alternate universe that had different hole spacings. I don't know if the heat from drilling through these expanded the steel or the rail. But anyway, when I got to these last 4 holes on my linear rail, I could not get the screws in. I loosened everything up. I took every other screw out. I had it to where it could move. I could not get these last 4 in. So I'm not sure how I got that far off. Maybe it was when I was drilling. I didn't hit my mark exactly and then I got off. But either way, I could not get these last 4 in. So for the past couple of, I guess, weeks, months now, they've just been kind of over here flopping in the wind. I probably could have got by without fixing it, but I figured I would show everybody, because most of you aren't building this big a machine, you don't have as much bolt. I have 25 bolts in each one of these linear rails. So I ran a couple things and I actually did a couple of tests. I said, well, maybe I can just JB weld those holes up, drill a new hole, tap a new hole through the JB weld. That did not work. The difference, even though JB weld you can use for that purpose, there was too much difference between the density of the JB weld and the density of the steel. So that didn't work. The holes were off just enough. I could see the holes through each one, but some of them were just off enough to where you couldn't get a screw in there. I mean, I'm talking a fraction of a millimeter, but that could have been 10 inches for all that matters. I could not get the bolts in there. So I thought about doing the JB weld. I actually tried that. In a scrap piece of steel, I drilled a hole, I filled it in with the JB weld, I let it cure, then I tried to come in and just slightly offset the hole, but the drill bit just automatically wants to jump back into that hole. So I scratched that. I probably could have arc welded those holes up and then ground them down flat, and that would have been fine. I didn't want to tear it all back apart, and 2, I didn't want to introduce that much heat into my steel. Even though with just doing those holes, you probably wouldn't introduce enough heat to make an issue, but I didn't want to risk it. So what I instead decided to do was make a backer plate. I drilled all of the holes in my steel out to match the holes in the linear rail. I think they're about 6.5 millimeters, somewhere in there. I just grabbed a drill bit that would fit down in there. So now these M5 bolts just drop through there and you've actually got a little bit of slop. So what I did is I took a new piece of steel, I marked it out, re-drilled it, verified that it would fit, and now I'm going to put that inside the tube like so. Take a piece of all thread or cut the head off of a bolt, just something to give you a little bit of grab there. Put a little clamp on that, and now I can look down through here and I can see, you may have to wiggle it just a little bit. And I can put these last 4 or 5 bolts in to hold this linear rail. Now, I've had to do this on 2 separate ones because my my Y gantry, same thing. I don't know why it was just those last couple. And again, if you get these too tight, you need to have a little bit of slop in there so you can get all of these back in. Maybe I'm just not that good of a machinist, which I believe is probably the likely culprit. So now I got all my linear rail bolts in. I'm going to get back to work today, tonight, maybe tomorrow, on putting the Z-axis together, and then hopefully I may have something running this weekend. So there you go. Have a good one.